All right, ladies and gentlemen, how many of you believe you have the ability to connect your brain to others? How many of you actually believe in the collective consciousness? How many of you have challenged almost every conspiracy theory you've ever known? And with that being said, how many of you feel free? Feel free. That was a good Caesar moment. Have you ever watched the Planet of the Apes? That guy just became Caesar. Now, anyway, with that being said, I saw a sign for this sled the other day. Wow, that's pretty loud. I feel like a rap concert. Anywho. Hey, buddy. Welcome to the dog show.
Yeah, she's your friend. She's the official place down to the aristocrat.
All right, little buddy. Are you able to come upstairs and perform a few tricks for me?
No, she's not a trickster.
No.
Bassett.
All right, so you got to excuse my mind sometimes. I know in America there's a lot of words that correlate to a lot of things, and based on my original upbringing, some of those words haven't been good words. So when I correlate them to the good words like BMX trick stunts or dog performances, I can expand my vocabulary. But I figured I'd try to reach the masses today. And typically the masses prefer simple subtlety. So with that being said, is that a girl? Yeah, nice Howlin' Wolf. Howlin' Wolf, by the way, is an artist that competed with a record label named Cadillac Records. He had an old truck. And if you know anything about the movie Cadillac Records, the whole group wanted Cadillacs and they had their Cadillacs. But Howlin' Wolf took it upon himself to say, I own this here truck. The truck doesn't own me. So, hunting down. What are you smelling? Cotton candy? See, I believe if you can teach a person's mind, you can teach their senses. And people come in all shapes, sizes, colors, and apparently mammals. I gotta catch that, that dog became a whale. Imagination is a good thing to use. Because if you allow people to limit your imagination, you allow them to limit your freedom. And so therefore, I use my imagination as a sparkle light, kind of like Thor, Shango, Zeus, the originals. Hey, buddy, what you doing? Did you go down the tunnel?
She's getting the
Wow. I did not know that dogs could be garbage men. Oh, sorry, garbage women. Sorry, sexualized people.
She doesn't care about the picture.
Yeah. You're so good. Yeah, nice thing, Tommy. Come on. Good girl. Come here. You're so good. You're awesome. Hey, question. Are zebras black or white?
You're a big girl.
Just a curious question. You must be the owner. $1 million question. Are zebras black or white? Sure. Let's call them polar bears.
Margot's got a buddy.
I'm gonna see Margot.
Yeah, Margot.
Margot. I'm gonna see if I can get Margot to speak. Margot, do you have anything to say? Say hello, Margot.
Margot. No.
Hey, Margot. The only thing she does funny is fart.
What are your thoughts on the Penn State being covered?
That is a microphone. Don't eat it.
Thank you.
Try to eat the microphone.
Margot, that was a taste of metal. Anywho, with all our curious spirits, question. Ask me any question in the world, and I'll give you an answer.
What's my middle name?
Your middle name, Langston Hughes. What about
You
Leroy?
tell me to be the right answer.
Correct.
You said to be an answer.
Correct.
Yes.
So I got a question. How long have you owned this place?
Just over a year. February 1st of last year.
Congratulations to you. All right. Now, on a scientific level, do you believe you have the ability to hear people's thoughts? Do you have the ability to project your thoughts into other people's heads?
No.
And it didn't work?
It never works.
All right. I'm thinking of a number.
37.
That too. But while I was asking that question, I was actually thinking of a number. I don't think you could see that. What was the number?
2.
Good job. Looks like it works. Now see, I'm on this kick to figure out why as humanity, we're forced to play a game of Monopoly, and then people try to limit us when we try winning. With that being said, knowing that we have the ability to connect our brains to each other, why is there not a better way to get paid? I'm not saying that your career isn't good, your life choices are awesome, but I've done a lot in my life, and you'd be surprised how many people say, oh, you can't do that. I think Marvel just spoke. So with that being said, are you good at jokes? Can you play the guitar? What? None of that. Think that's what it is. Master of all. The original saying is jack of all trades. This is a jack. Master of some. With that being said, I believe I mastered everything I've done to the best of my ability. I never said I was better than everybody, but I'm better than some. Probably better than most average. All right, that's a good way to view life, right? They call that what, optimism?
Right? That's right.
Right. Probably good français. No habla español? ¿Qué? Well, mi no comprendemos. Mucho cerveza, ¿eh? Cerveza mucho bueno. Never mad, only focused. See, I got this thing where I like to project light into people because, now keep up with me on this one, and this is for you too. Allow me to take a seat. In the world we live in, we were taught that God and blue were good, red and the devil were bad. I began to question those teachings because they say you're not supposed to question things, but if you're curious and a leader, you're chosen to correct things or question them. So with that being said, if somebody called you the devil, what would you feel about that?
I don't know. I think I'm impressed. No.
Alright, so if somebody called me the devil, I tell them pig Latin. Spell it backwards.
Yeah. I don't know. What is that? Lift.
Ding, ding, ding.
Okay.
Live. I like live it too.
Right.
Very vivid. But anywho, when people say that you're evil because you choose to live, is that their fault or yours? Right. So in my journey, I've learned that people can teach you their fundamental ways of how they discover things, but they can't teach you how to actually live. And so therefore, when people try to limit someone else's freedom, they're actually taking away their ability to live. So when you grow up in places where they say use your inside voice, it's like, well, what if this is my inside voice? You know, they say, hey, that is no trespassing in the land of the free. You know, because in God's country, everything was supposed to be free. And I thought God owned the world. So let me ask you a political view. Do you believe America is a prison that you must pay to exit?
I think
Life is a prison.
Yeah.
It's probably one of the biggest prisons ever, believe it or not. Because in my opinion, no child ever asked to be born. Like no sperm said, hey, mom, I want to come visit your ex, you know? And I want to turned myself into a 22. If you ever seen the movie Soul? So it's a Disney movie, and there's a soul in the movie named 22. All right, and the soul 22 was given a task of finding its purpose, like every other soul in the kingdom of souls. Sorry, and 22 was just kind of like, oh, well, I met with all the greats that y'all had on earth, and they all tried to teach me a purpose, and they all tried to lead me in a certain direction. But the problem is I haven't quite figured out what I want to do before I get to earth. So it just so happens that in the movie, 22 actually enters the body of a man. He was a jazz player, nonetheless, a jazz teacher and a player. But that being said, once 22 actually got to come to Earth, then he was able to find his purpose. Because in the kingdom of souls, nothing has taste, only a name. Like the movie's deep. So like, I was taught that great philosophers and teachers can tell you where to look, but not what to look for. And so with that being said, oftentimes people are always saying, hey, this is the best way to go. Hey, this is the best way to do things. Hey, this is the best way to lead. And I'm saying, as an individual, if I follow you, am I actually leading? And that goes to the way of the world, because everybody has their own perspective on life and what's best in life. And don't get me wrong, I take heed, this is me personally, I take heed to the morals, the concepts, the benefits. Well, while he's taking a brief intermission, I'd like to continue. So, as some of us take heed to all the moral concepts, the love, unity, excitement, and thrill of life, how many people actually question the Bible publicly? For example, where did the first black man come from? Because God put life into Adam, who supposedly was the first human on earth. But people forget Adam oftentimes when they're praising Jesus. And if you ask me, every title in between self and the title God is just a title. Because most of us didn't choose our names, nor did we choose the way we label things in modern day society, unless we come up with an entirely new word and get it copyrighted. Of course, you deal with the copyright. So, with that being said, I'll ask everybody, if no one told you you had to work for a living, what is it that you would do? You're welcome for the jackals, by the way. So in the world of freedom, the question is, are we really free? In the world of kingdoms, is the king really dumb? Nice, Melina. Love. Welcome to the 70s, my friend. Just yesterday, my brother told me, bro, it's like you can't live past that era. And I'm like, the E-R-R-O-R or the E-R-A? Because if you spell era, good arrow, Oliver Queen. Yeah. So I guess if we had to choose what to be in the world, I'll choose dog in a mirror. No worries, no worries. You guys do not have to go anywhere. I'll try to make it next Thursday. With that being said, I would love for people to give me some insight on what it means to be human or humanitarian. Or what do they call us? Homo sapiens? Which is completely funny because when you call somebody a homo, you're implying that they're, excuse the language, it may not be politically correct, but you're implying that they're like the opposite or the same gender or the same gender. So, if I call somebody a homo, knowing they're homo sapien, am I really calling them gay? Like, come on, people, the world we live in, and all these words. How old are you?
19.
So I have a young lady here who's 19, and I'm pretty sure her wisdom and intellect goes beyond her predecessors. Is there anything you'd like to share today?
No thoughts, Hallelujah.
She said, no thanks, her head is empty. So therefore, if her head is empty, are you pretending to be Patrick SpongeBob? Have you ever seen that episode of SpongeBob? Because most people seen SpongeBob and he has that dude kind of thing. Alright, so there's this one episode where he creates a song called Patrick Star. Have you ever seen it? You know how hard he had to work to get that brain skip moving? Oh my god, it was like the best episode ever because Patrick's typically just, oh, let's have fun. And everybody's like, Patrick, you're such a kid. And you're like in the SpongeBob movie where it's like, SpongeBob, you have to be a man to be a manager. If you wasn't a man, they'd call it Killager. Understand it? Right? And so when I break down the word manager, I really see man anger because if a man tells a person what they're able to bring to the table and that person questions their ability, they're questioning their manliness. No disrespect to you as a woman, but as a woman, you still feel like, whoa, man. You know? And that's no disrespect to women. I love the fragrance. It's incredible. How are you? What's going on, man? Let me throw that shirt. I feel like going fishing today. Alright, so anywho, do y'all want to share some intellectual wisdom with the youth of America?
Yeah, enjoy everything.
I'm part of the youth too. And don't get me wrong, I'm 32, be 33 next month, but I look like I'm 17, so I think I can get away with being youthful.
Enjoy the moment. Every good and bad experience. Just enjoy.
Because in everything you go through, there's a lesson to learn.
That's right. That's right. I'm gonna figure out a way. You pick. Oh, you're working. Yeah, we're gonna enjoy this experience.
So since y'all have joined the live show, I got a question for you, lovely folks, the beautiful couple. My question is there any question in life that you was afraid to ask publicly?
I gotta think about that one. Is it brunch?
All right. So I'll throw a few religious questions out there first. Do you believe that Jesus actually walked on top of water? And my question to follow up that question is, what do you think actually happened?
He knew where the rocks were.
Great answer. I highly agree with the way he thinks.
Yeah, I started and he finished it.
That's what makes a power team.
That's right.
And don't get me wrong, I'm sure you answered plenty of his questions and finished plenty of his statements.
I did.
Alright, because when I was taught that Jesus walked on water, at first I was like, wow, that's incredible. That man really walked on water? And then I hit like puberty, and I was like, whoa, hold up here a minute. I've been down to the local beaches. I'm from a different area. I'm lower South Carolina, the Hampton, Farmville, Charleston.
Where are you from exactly?
Collington, the Walterboro area.
I'm from Hampton.
All right, I actually grew up in Farmville. Well, I spent most of my younger years in Farmville. I moved there when I was like third grade, probably about 6 to 8 years old.
I grew up there, Hampton. Yep.
All right, so country girls rule.
That Murdoch, I know all of them.
Yeah.
I'll be right
The
back.
Murdochs, the Stanleys, the Malcolm Haneys, the Cooks. Who else is out there? The Williams, the Johnsons, the Johns, the Malthusses. I know a few. All right, so anyway, when I hit puberty and I visit local beaches during high tide, I'm like, ooh, I can wade in the water and not have to get rushed out into the ocean. And then during low tide, I'm like, whoa, I can't feel anything under my feet. let me get back up to the shore, you know? So my analysis of Jesus being a guy who was able to walk on water and I believe lead Peter out to the water. Don't hold me 100% accountable on that. But the guy he led out to the water when he was walking on water, I believe he went out there doing high tide. Because the person who told Jesus, hey, you can't go out there, might have went out there at low tide and fell in. Now, another biblical point that I've analyzed is when Moses and Jesus turned water into wine. Now, we know back then killing was shunned upon, frowned upon or whatever, because the whole story of Cain and Abel where Cain picked fruits, Abel slaughtered the lambs, or the cattle, the herd, and they both made sacrifices to God, and God punished Abel and made him work the fields for killing the animals, and he praised Cain for providing fruit and veggies, natural resources without actually taking a life. And during that process, in that era, fruits, berries, and vegetables were like the top of the food chain. It just naturally grew on the earth before people knew how to kill, And so when Jesus turned water into wine, what I'm thinking is, since Jesus was a traveler, maybe he picked up a few grapes on the way into like Rome or something. And during the process, it could have took him 3 to 6 months in the fermentation process of turning grapes into wine. By the time he got there, he was like, hey, look, I picked these delicious purple things, if he even knew what purple was at that time. I picked these beautiful purple things and they taste incredible. They're sweet and delicious to the tongue. And then he went to hand it to the king or emperor of Rome, because even at that time, I don't even know if they had kings and emperors. They talk of lords, Oh, gotcha. So at that point in time, Jesus was like, hey, I picked these beautiful purple things and they taste sweet and delicious.
How about the diet character and she wants a true sweet tea?
What a splash of lemon.
Okay. Alright, that's alright. I'll ask her.
Such a gentleman. No. And I'll tell him about that type of mentality later. But bear with me. So anywho, so when he tastes those grapes and he was like, hey man, these taste kind of bitter, but it's different, it's new, it's unique. And then the guy he gave them to was like, whoa, what is this? And he's like, I don't know, man. And it's like, well, it's liquidy like water. I guess it's called water then. It's liquidy like water, but it gives me a buzz. And then he hit that, and he made a whining noise. And so they called it wine. So, anywho, I'll actually segue into the traditionally, as an alpha male, we were taught.
Sorry, hold on. Go ahead.
As an alpha male, we were taught that it's chivalrous to order a woman's drink and meal to pique her curiosity and show that we're the alpha in the room. And 90% of the time, that is okay. That 10% of the time where a woman wants to make up her own mind, I think it's best that she order for a man or just orders her own meal. Because one of the most aggravating things in the world to me, I'll tell you a true story, happened last year. I was visiting this Hispanic restaurant in Walterboro, South Carolina. And I had a young lady with me that I was dating at the time named Stacy. Her real name is Satara Akron, but we call her Stacy or Cece. And as we were going to this Hispanic restaurant, I'm like, have you ever been here before? Because she was from the Colleton area. She was like, no. I was like, cool, I'll order you something. Steak fajita, right? You're a man, tell me steak fajitas are awesome. I love a good steak fajita. So I took it upon myself to order her the best thing I knew that they had at the time, Well, personally, steak fajitas, I'm like, you can't go wrong, especially if you're carnivore, So I ordered, she's like, what do you order me? I'm like, a steak fajita. And she's like, I I don't know, it doesn't sound good. I don't know if I'm gonna like that. Keep in mind, me and this young lady has been living together for like 6 months at a time. Right. So I watched her devour almost everything you put in front of her. So I'm like, and you don't want a steak fajita? So she nitpicks about it the entire time it comes. Her plate gets delivered, she sits down, she's checking it out, and she's like, ooh, a steak fajita, is that what this is? It has peppers and onions and, what is that, mushrooms? I think I'm allergic. And I'm like, just try it, you know? So she tries her steak fajita, gets like three or four forks, pulls into it, and she's like, wow, this is really good. And I'm like, now you see why you shouldn't complain? You know? So don't get me wrong, my message personally is never hesitate to try anything once. And as cute as it look, ladies, and this is for the ladies in the crowd, as cute as it looks sometimes to be rejective to a man's subjectiveness, sometimes it's better to just go along with him.
I tried to order you a lunch meat too, man.
It's all right. I told you I wanted the right.
All right. Now, I actually did a YouTube video. My YouTube, by the way, is called Shingle, the Man of Wisdom. But on my YouTube, I was talking about subliminal messages and how Dane Cook did it better on his Vicious Circle. But he told how women and men alike can plant a small statement inside of somebody's brain, and it's like a ticking time bomb. All right. Now on my YouTube, I called it mental manipulation. For example, there's this TV show on Netflix called The Messengers, and in this TV show, there's like I think like 136 people on the plane, and out of 100, the plane just disappears for like 7 years. No joke. It was just in the air for like 7 years. So when they landed, they thought they took their 3.5 to 4 hour trip, and they were actually gone for 7 years. Like wives remarried, husbands remarried, kids moved on, and when the plane landed, they're like, hey, we finally made it. And all the people at the airport was like, wait a minute, air traffic control didn't have you registered, like what's going on? So the point of the show is, while they were in the air for 7 years, they all became a part of this historic event where ships disappeared, planes disappeared, trains disappeared, and when they reemerged, they had this thing called the calling. And the calling was basically a group of people who would hear thoughts or get visions, and they would have to answer the calling. For example, this one lady, she had a vision of some kids being held hostage in a shipping container, and she told one of her buddies about it. They went to go investigate it. The person who owned the property was like, hey, you can't come here. And the lady had this relentless drive to figure out her meaning of the calling. So she did a B&E. For those who don't know, it's not a making an A, it's a breaking an A. Right? So when she gets there, she frees the kids, the dogs were actually kidnapped, etc., etc. The dolls that were guarding the property were actually stolen dogs.